After longtime Superman family editor Mort Weitzinger retired in 1971, Supergirl's character went under revitalization under editor Joe Orlando and artist Mike Sekowsky, wearing a series of new costumes and leaving her adopted foster family, the Danvers. Linda goes to San Francisco, where she ends up working as a camera operator for KSF TV. These stories have some of Supergirl's most memorable villains. Lex Luthor's niece, Nastasia, or Nasty. Nasty had made a couple of appearances during her college years. She ends up following Linda to San Francisco to try and get proof of her dual identity. Much like her uncle Lex, Nasty had an obsession. In her first eponymous monthly series, running from 1972 to October of 1974, when her monthly title merged with Superman's Girlfriend and Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen to produce a new series called Superman Family, where she eventually became the steady lead story. Linda worked as a student advisor at the New Athens Experimental School before leaving for New York to follow a career in acting on the daytime drama Secret Heart. In 1982, Supergirl got her second solo monthly series titled The Daring New Adventures of Supergirl. The character was relocated again to Chicago, and Carmine Infantino, industry legend, provided the penciling, inked by Bob Oxner. With issue number 13, the title was revamped, with Supergirl sporting a brand new, very Pat Benatar red headband. The title itself was shortened to just Supergirl. The series ran until its sudden cancellation in 1984, just 2 months before the character's big budget Hollywood debut on the big screen, with Helen Slater starring as Supergirl. Fun fact, the 1984 Supergirl movie starring Miss Helen Slater was the first live-action film I saw in theaters. In 1985, many heroes from across the DC multiverse joined forces to defeat the Anti-Monitor in Crisis on Infinite Earths. DC's stories had become convoluted and hard to follow, so they created a crisis event to clean up those convoluted storylines and make life a little easier on readers and DC creators alike. This event, this method, would become a common tool for DC to use to clean up storylines. So anytime you see a DC title with the word crisis in it, you can expect some spring cleaning. When Superman comes face to face with the Anti-Monitor, he is knocked unconscious and about to be killed. But just in the nick of time, Supergirl rushes in to save him. She's able to fight off the Anti-Monitor, giving Dr. Light enough time to take Superman to safety. But Supergirl ends up sacrificing herself and is killed by the Anti-Monitor. Afterward, Supergirl is buried on New Krypton, but they have a huge memorial for her in Chicago. When the Monitor, the antithesis of the Anti-Monitor, obviously, when he reboots the universe, the timeline is altered and all memory of Kara Zor-El is erased. Though she was erased from the DC continuity, she had a habit of randomly popping up from time to time, like as a spirit trying to reassure Boston Brand, aka Dead Man, or as kind of an imaginary friend for Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. After 1985, the stance of DC Comics was that Superman alone was Krypton's sole survivor. There was no one else. Officially, Kara Zor-El never existed, and neither could she ever be mentioned. They went so far that in Secret Origins Volume 2, issue number 42, her name was actually censored in the letter column. At the same time, although Power Girl was spared, she obviously couldn't be an Earth 2 version of Kara Zor-El anymore. So her backstory was also changed to being the granddaughter of an Atlantean sorcerer called Arian. 1 year later, she starred in a 4-issue series which explored her new origin. For the next 16 years, any version of Supergirl, any character having the name Supergirl, was not Kara Zor-El, not Superman's cousin. In 1988, Supergirl returned crashing to Earth in Antarctica, unconscious. Yet, recognizable, she had blonde hair and blue eyes and her classic costume. In this incarnation, her alter ego was Linda Danvers. This Supergirl was a shape-shifting protoplasmic creation of a Lex Luthor from a pocket universe. She would later go on to be known as Matrix. In 2000, the then current Supergirl book featuring Linda Danvers, Matrix, was in danger of being canceled. This inspired Peter David's very popular book, Many Happy Returns. He knew readers were getting bored with shapeshifter Linda Danvers. And also, many readers, after 12 years, still only would accept Kara Zor-El as Supergirl. So, with a need to make some money and sell some books, Peter David came up with this story. Kara returns, but as Linda Danvers' guardian angel. Young Kara appears as a younger version of herself way before the crisis event. A paradox is created and a moral dilemma for Linda. She tries to take Kara's place as the crisis sacrifice. She ends up living in the Silver Age universe for years where no one swears, the villains are easily defeated, and it's so clean. Linda eventually marries the Silver Age Superman. Remember, this Linda Danvers is a protoplasmic shapeshifter, not Superman's cousin, so it's totally ethically and legally fine. So not only does she marry the Superman, but they have a daughter too, right before she is forced to return to her universe by the Spectre, who explains to her that no matter what she does, she will never replace Kara Zor-El as the crisis sacrifice. Linda's inability to save Kara, coupled with the loss of her husband and child, is so devastating to her that it ends her career as Supergirl. Linda leaves a note for Superman explaining that she has failed to live up to the standards required to carry the Supergirl name and legacy. She also told him that she chose to go somewhere else, somewhere where she could never be found. This is considered one of the greatest Supergirl story arcs ever to be written.
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you!